To make switching to the new Boost Mobile risk-free, we're offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Because you have nothing to lose. Boost Mobile is offering a 30-day money-back guarantee.
No, I asked why wouldn't you switch from Verizon or T-Mobile?
Oh.
Wouldn't.
Because you love wasting money as a way to punish yourself because your mother never showed you enough love as a child?
Whoa. Easy there.
Yeah.
Applies to online activations. Requires port-in and auto-pay. Customers activating in stores may be charged non-refundable activation fees.
Bada. Bada boom. Sold.
Huh?
Just sold my car on Carvana. Dropping it off and getting paid today.
Already?
What, you still haven't sold yours? You told me about it months ago.
Is the offer good?
Oh, the offer's great.
Don't have another car yet?
I could trade it in for this car I love.
Come on. What are we waiting for?
You're right.
Let's go.
Whether you're looking to sell your car right now or just whenever feels right, go to Carvana.com and sell your car the convenient way. Terms and conditions apply.
This Halloween, ghoul all out with Instacart. Whether you're hunting for the perfect costume, eyeing that giant bag of candy, or casting spells with eerie decor, we've got it all in one place. Download the Instacart app and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Plus, enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Offer valid for a limited time, minimum $10 per order, service fees, other fees, and additional terms apply. Instacart, bringing the store to your door this Halloween.
Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And this is Seeking Sister Wife Season 5, Episode 11, Seeking a Connection.
We're just a Bluetooth device out there seeking a connection.
A lot of them are searching, device not found.
Very few are finding.
I'm starting to feel like every time I write one of these episode titles that I've already written it.
Well, because they all start with seeking a...
I know, but they're so boring. I don't like this format. We need something a little more engaging. And this is the first time they've done this. This isn't the format they've used before in past seasons.
You got to spice it up. You got to change it up. But the episode description for this one is... Nick Davis goes on a romantic first date with Jasmine. Potential sister wife Sara throws a curveball at the Sherwoods. Becky, Ryan, and Yary have an awkward first meeting. The Salahuddins deal with the aftermath of their fight with Jamila.
I am so happy that we said goodbye to some of the couples this episode and wrapped up their storylines. And we just have the best of the best for the final few episodes here.
We're trimming the fat in this episode.
It needed to be done.
We're going to get to the prime cuts here in the next few episodes to wrap up the season. But let's go ahead and hear that Carly episode rewrite description.
The Salahuddins reflect on the only interesting thing they've filmed this season. Sara surprises the Sherwoods with a pop-in breakup. Nick Davis takes Jasmine to junior prom. Becky gives Yary the creeps on their first date.
I have notes about that date.
I can't wait.
We will talk.
The Fajita Cantina knockoff date. The drinks looked good at that place.
The margaritas were serious.
It was distracting. I feel like you took more in than I did because I was looking at the drinks the whole time. Where should we start? Should we just get the Salahuddins out of the way?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't any new information this episode at all. We were just talking about what happened in the last episode.
Okay, this is sad because this is when you know that someone has no content to film, that we're just reflecting again on things that we just saw happen 10 minutes ago. They just go back to the house. They bring Yary with them because, again, she's the most interesting thing about the majority of what they filmed this season.
I feel like this was maybe just a soft launch into Yary.
Yeah, can we see Yary next season?
Yeah, can we get a Yary storyline with her couple next season? That would be good.
I'm pretty sure we have said goodbye to the Salahuddins forever at the end of this episode. They just contributed nothing. So last week they had their big fight with Naeem's mom over polygamy, and they sit down and talk with Yary about it, and she has to spit some truths to them. She's like, first of all, why do you keep bringing it up to your mom if you know that she is annoyed by it and she's not changing her perspective on it? Why do you keep pushing it?
Yeah, you're forcing it now at this point because clearly she is in opposition to this. So why are you continuing to press the subject?
Because they're on TV. That's why.
And we're trying to cut off contact.
Well, it sounded like they were trying to cut off contact with her before until the TLC crew showed up. And then they were like, let's call your mom because that's going to start some shit. And it did. And when the cameras go away, they probably won't talk to her again.
Jamila doesn't know how to pronounce her granddaughter's first name, but then claims to have this deep understanding and knowing relationship about how she feels about her parents seeking polygamy. But these are all just excuses. Jamila doesn't like it.
We've known that from day one. She's been making up different reasons why she doesn't like polygamy.
Abundantly clear.
We're not making them up necessarily, but digging through the bag one by one and pulling them each out every time they film a new scene. And she finally got to this one.
Yeah, whatever one's more useful, because she couldn't use the nasty and the germy descriptor because there was a polygamist, active polygamist, sitting at the table with them.
Doesn't that kind of tell you something, though? If she was so worried about her grandchildren, why wasn't that the first thing you brought up about it? It took like 3 other excuses where you talked about how you didn't like polygamy until you got to this one. I think that's telling in and of itself.
Well, and the fact that Nyla thinks that this is the last excuse, oh, we haven't even started. Wait till you start finding her in desperation mode and the stories that she will weave for the excuses and the reasoning and the mental gymnastics that go into her logic for this.
They did kind of talk about that a little bit. I liked that Shahari is a real friend because she called Nyla out for her part in the messiness that occurred, where it was like, look, girl, it wasn't all names, Mom. It was kind of you too. And that's when they talked about, look, she was embarrassed. You called her out for something really embarrassing, right? Not having a relationship with her own grandchild. It's going to be on TV. How are they going to cut that part of the fight out? She was embarrassed. And then it very quickly escalated because you continued to push.
But that's kind of their theme, continuing to push.
Everyone on the show is like that. Push and push fast.
That's the whole storyline. But we should better ourselves, challenge ourselves to be better and each other to communicate effectively even when we are emotionally upset. Because in those moments, it can be difficult to convey. And then as soon as it escalates and gets disrespectful, then you're really not communicating. You're not listening to each other anymore, so you're never going to get anywhere in that relationship if that continues.
Those are all really valid points, and I liked a lot of what Jahari said, but there was one thing that she mentioned where I latched onto a word and thought, I feel like maybe there's more behind that of personal feelings Jahari has, where she mentioned staying in control, and it felt like a worry of looking like an angry Black woman in public.
Well, especially when it's 2 angry Black women yelling at each other in public. I'm sure that Jahari became very aware of the optics of that scenario.
I just felt like there was more to that conversation in the words that were chosen than what was actually said.
Again, the most interesting part of their entire story is this one character that they have introduced to us in the last 2 episodes that we're going to see them ever. So I really hope Jahari gets her own spinoff.
I would like to see her on here next season with her couple because that's a dynamic that we haven't really seen, where the third has a relationship with both the husband and the wife. And it seems like it's going well. It's probably not. There's got to be some kind of drama.
Well, I feel like that's what the producers resorted to with the Salahuddins, was they were like, okay.
They looked through their Facebook friends.
We're gonna
sure.
Yeah, we are going to be recruiting replacement. Do you want to help us find your replacements? They didn't tell them that, but basically they just invited them to say, hey, you should bring as many of your friends who are active polygamists in your life that you know about and talk with them.
It was such a bummer because it was really interesting that they're a Muslim couple. It's interesting that they have all of these friends who live polygamy, who are themselves dynamic and interesting people, who are in different types of relationships. But they did not deliver this season.
So I think they're slowly writing themselves out at this point, and we have reached the conclusion of the Salahuddin family story.
which didn't really even make much sense because in the end, they wrap it up by saying, well, my mom, she'll come around eventually.
I don't think so. I don't think so, bro.
He's like, she'll come around eventually. You should film it. It'll probably happen.
It'll be a real heartwarming moment if you're here to catch it on camera. I don't think so. I think as a producer, you need to be able to spot your dead end storylines. And they knew pretty early on when they started directing them to invite as many friends as they possibly could. So they have their options to extend casting invites for next season instead of the Salahuddins.
I do want to put something out there for production into the universe, because I don't think anyone from TLC listens to our podcast. You don't have to put everything you film on TV. And
Well,
this is a good example of that.
Yeah, and that's more so a note for Sister Wives in particular. But yes, this show too, because you have the money-making family of the Merrifields, which, based on the previews, we have 2 episodes left in the season. The Merrifields weren't in this episode at all.
And they were sorely missed.
They were sorely missed. There's 2 episodes left in the season. They're introducing another person into the fold here that we haven't even met yet. With 2 episodes left, there could have been so much more to that storyline. We barely scratched the surface on Garrick's 6 weeks in Brazil. It was nice to jump ahead and just get to the confrontational bits, but I feel like
maybe we could have done 4 couples and just given them more screen time.
Trim it down, because you can't have 2 of the 5 couples be absolutely nothing burgers, because the Salahuddins, they ended right where they began. There was no change at all. And then the Sherwoods are probably our other dud couple for this season.
I think people really liked the Sherwood storyline for the most part.
Likeability, I think people liked them. I don't think they liked their storyline.
All right. Well, I don't know if people liked them based on this episode. Let's just go there.
There was a turn. Yeah, we get to see some shit in this episode. But we start off with them. It's both Ashley and Shane, and they're on the couch doing an interview with the producers, singing Sarah's praises about how wonderful it is that she's entered into their life, that they're experiencing this seeking sister-wife relationship that's now going on, how great it is. Ashley's giddy. She's excited. She's overcome with joy.
The crazy thing is the speed of their story. They're having this confessional because yesterday, so basically it was last night, because it was like around dinner time. That
12 hours ago.
Sarah came over and agreed to be exclusive with them, right? Is that what she agreed to? I'm not even really clear.
Well, those were the words that were used, but I don't know if Sarah knows what she's just signed up for.
In the moment, she said yes. She seemed like she didn't really want to say yes. They didn't seem to be clued into that.
Nobody was really on the same page. And I think Shane and Ashley were hearing what they wanted to hear because they were forcing an answer out of Sarah. And again, going back to it, I think Sarah gave the answer that she knew would get her out of this house alive. And so that was the safe bet. Just appease them and escape.
So they're on the couch, they're filming, and Shane is annoyed because Ashley's phone keeps ringing. And he's like, I think whoever's calling you is calling you again. So maybe you want to pick it up because it seems like they really want to get in touch with you.
So Shane's already getting agitated just from this interaction. And it turns out Ashley does answer the phone. It's Sarah. And she just happens to be in the neighborhood, even though she lives several hours drive away from us. She happens to be.
She's been circling the block for 45 minutes now.
Building up the courage to have this conversation, whatever is about to happen. She wants to come over and talk in person.
When someone says they want to talk in person and it's someone you're dating, alarm bells start to go off.
But Ashley and Shane have no idea why Sarah would be here. I guess the dating is so new, they haven't even thought of that as an issue, that a breakup could be on the way.
They kind of seem like they think that there's something going on. They're very apprehensive when they go outside to talk to her.
So they have a seat in the shade. It's an awkward hello. They get situated in. Sara jumps in and she's trying to be honest with them up front, right out the gate. Not something she was able to do yesterday because she didn't feel safe. Now she's within eye line of her vehicle. She's outside.
She's got some mace in her pocket.
She's prepared to have this confrontation now on her terms. And she's just letting them know, I think things are moving a little too fast. I wasn't really ready for this. And I know that you guys are pushing for that sort of commitment early on. You guys get attached very quickly. And that seems to be something that you guys experience. That's not something that I'm ready for at this point. In so many words, she was basically saying, I felt kind of forced into it's either now or never type of a situation. And so she said now, but now she's thinking, I don't really want to pursue that if that's going to be the case.
She has regrets. Also, the whole attachment, really quickly, that's a personal problem that you guys have that maybe you should deal with.
Yeah, that's not something that you need to involve someone else in.
It's not my problem just because that's how you feel, which I appreciated that she told them that. I really need them to show us a timeline from now on of the speed of these relationships.
Yeah, nice calendar flip, because basically this is all happening within a week.
Like 2 weeks, a week and a half. They went on that date at the park. And then a few days later, they went and met with Shane where they did mini golf. And then they invited her over to the house and told her she had to be exclusive with them. And now she's breaking up with them.
It was a pressure cooker of a relationship.
It felt a lot longer on TV, broken up to multiple episodes, but I think it actually lasted longer on television than it did in real life.
They ran the whole gamut. They really did. Very quickly.
Ashley continues to say nothing whenever she's being confronted by someone. I think it's weird.
She just agrees. She's agreeable. She finds herself doing the Danielle Davis, where she is saying things that she knows the other person wants to hear.
Well, first she didn't say anything. And so she left Shane to be the one to have to give some type of response to whatever Sara said.
And Shane seemed confused at first, but then it quickly turns to accusatory and then sort of a shaming thing about how, well, Ashley was really liking you. So that was why we were moving forward with this. And it seemed like you were on board for that, since that's what you told us yesterday. But Sara had to hit him with the, it's not you, it's me routine. And I know
it's them.
I think it's them. And I think
it's most definitely them, Sara.
If we're trying to be honest, I think we really need to be honest, and we need to let them know it is you.
Maybe next time, don't force someone into a more serious relationship with you than they're ready for at the point of time they're in. They didn't care about anything that Sara brought up to them. Throughout the multiple conversations they had, there were many times where she said something and they were just like, well, this is what we're looking for. This is what we want.
To be fair, if Sara had any constructive criticism or feedback to offer them, this doesn't strike me as the type of exit interview where that would be received very well.
Well, then it's like any exit interview, isn't it?
It's like all exit interviews.
We're not actually looking for feedback that we can improve upon. We just want to see if you have a lawsuit against us.
We know the culture and the dynamic that we've cultivated here in this relationship that we extended you an invite to.
We're not planning on changing it.
And we have no interest in taking those concerns to heart. But thank you for your participation. No, they didn't even do that, though. They couldn't do that.
Props to Sara. I don't think that I could have broken up with a woman who was about to go into labor.
That's scary.
I think I would have waited.
You're assuming a level of risk that I don't want.
I mean, that tells you how seriously she wanted to get out of this.
It has to happen now. I have to get out of here before they make me the godmother of their child. And
before they put me on the birth certificate.
And then I'm really stuck.
Those things had to be going through her mind. She's like, I'm going to be wet nursing this baby.
Oh, no. It's going to be a big problem. So they wrap up this conversation. Sara burns out of there. She peels out. Well, maybe she burned out too.
What did you think about what she had to say about not wanting to be controlled, valuing her independence? did she seem like the right candidate to be a sister wife?
It seemed like she had her defenses up against a cult type situation, which is good. You should be aware of these things.
We're very pro Sara, huh?
Yeah, I'm on board with Sara. And just a PSA, I think I figured out who it is. It was one of my friend's wives is kind of who she reminds me of. But
oh, yes. Thank you to everybody.
Yes, thank you for the suggestions. I think it was somebody from my personal life, though, that it was reminding me of.
Yes, but the actress from Downton Abbey that we got sent is her identical twin.
A little doppelganger situation.
She has many walking around. She doesn't know it.
She's easily replaced, is what we're getting at.
Maybe she's a half sibling from a sperm donor who's been moving around the globe. For those of you who are watching Love in Paradise, by the way, we just recapped that. We did a Let's Talk About It episode on Patreon. And that show, if you are not watching it, it's time to get caught up.
Go find out about your globe-trotting direct deposit father, if that's the case.
Sara has fled to safety, and we're left with Shane and Ashley, who storm back into the house.
The aftermath conversation was kind of the damning part of this episode and
diluted.
Tarnishes their storyline, I think, in some ways, a lot of ways, because Shane is mad. He's legitimately upset about this.
Like too angry for someone who also didn't seem that excited about Sara.
Zero investment in this, and then all of the reaction. And I think that's kind of an interesting codependency that they have in their relationship, where Shane seems to be the emotional outlet point for Ashley, because it was probably a lot of Ashley's frustrations that she wasn't voicing, that Shane took on himself.
I agree with that. I felt like a lot of his reaction was him reacting to how Ashley felt, because he can tell they're married and they're codependent.
There seems to be, just more of, it's not just a relationship dynamic between the two of them, especially with the scenario that they're talking about, that they're building, that they're working towards, of adding another wife to their family.
Can Shane take on another person's emotions?
Is that possible? Yeah, I feel like they're just going to get upset with when that codependency goes somewhere else, then it's just going to be hurtful to see that reliance in someone else.
All I know is it was really weird and off-putting to see him talk about what a shitty person Sara was, that she gave them hope and then took it away.
What kind of a person does that? Sick individual.
And none of the feedback from the exit interview sunk in.
We didn't get that memo. HR did not put that in a digestible format for us.
There was not a moment where they stopped to say, maybe we did something that could have contributed to how she was feeling.
No, it was her. She tricked us and she lied and changed her mind.
He went the Cody Brown way.
Yeah, got tricked.
That's probably what was so triggering for the audience.
Yeah, it sounded very familiar for that sort of response. So then we have to go back to the couch and finish up the second half of our interview, which the first part, it's going to be a little uneven because we wrote the first half when we were with Sara, and now we're going to do the second half after we broke up. Maybe they were listening to The Cure a lot.
I knew where you were going with that. Yeah, I hope they filmed everything that they needed to, reflecting on the things that had happened the day before, because now it's awkward to sit on the couch and talk about it as though you're hopeful for the future and things have already ended.
Well, then Shane had to run up to the restroom, and Ashley's still crying on the couch and stuff. She's upset, but she's not upset. She's fine.
I don't think that he wanted to watch her cry.
That was a hard part of this, too. Well, I thought we were going to have a Jinx hot mic situation with Shane. I thought he was going to go up and start talking about, well, yep, they got you.
That would have been so much better.
I was half expecting a hot mic situation from Shane. But that's not what we got. Instead, we had to fast forward. We jumped to where they're at now because, boop, here's the baby.
Baby Sway.
Baby born.
What was the other baby's name? He had a weird name.
Do you want me to actually know what the name is, or do you want me to rattle through the ones that are popping up into my head?
Yeah, rattle through them.
Rex? No, it was Cy. It was Cy.
It was Cy, yeah.
I don't know why.
Forget?
I don't know why I started with Rex, though, but that was the first one that came to mind. Rex, short for Tyrannosaurus Rex.
That's his legal name.
That's legally. It's on the birth certificate.
How could we forget Cy? We kept singing Cy's song.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
You guys miss a lot when we're on the couch taking notes.
That's how I remember people's names. It's association. This is how we get through this. Whoop 'em Gangnam Style.
So now we have baby Sway, who has made it here into the world.
Swayman. Sway is short for Swayman.
Was that real, or was that I thought that was like a cute nickname.
I thought he was just a big fan of the Boston Bruins. And so that's their goalie, Swayman. At least this season.
Okay.
Not so good.
I don't think they were inspired by hockey.
You don't?
No. Although, could you see Shane on the couch getting really angry watching a hockey game?
Yes, I could. You tell me he hasn't had a hockey game on in the background when he's throwing axes or throwing golf clubs or throwing whatever else he throws. Cornhole, bean bags.
He played beer pong.
Oh, darts.
Remember?
Everything. He throws everything. He throws a lot of stuff.
He's got a lot of anger to channel into throwing things.
Throws accusations. He throws a lot of stuff.
Baby Sway is here. They're making macaroni and cheese. They're reflecting on their experience so far. They're going to take a little break from dating. They're a little busy with the baby. And also things didn't go really well this last shot.
Yeah, they were trying to say that finding a sister wife is still on their priority list. But it sounded like it's just way, way, way down on that priority list, because now all these other things that we were pushing for have now come to fruition and demand our attention more so, which is what a lot of our friends were telling us of maybe this isn't the right time to be seeking a sister wife.
They didn't take that feedback either.
HR didn't get that memo.
And then almost as an afterthought, they tell us that Shane had his screening for cancer and he's all good.
So this is where mixed reviews on the usage of this, the exploitation of this for drama in the storyline is a little gross.
Oh, it is. And then it makes you wonder too, since that came out good and now the priority list has shifted, they're not as urgently searching for a sister wife. Did that have a lot more to do with it than what they had originally said?
It seems like they're not being totally upfront and honest with us in a lot of these cases.
I think it's 50-50 on if we'll see them again. I don't think Ashley contributes that much.
It's just whatever she's able to program into Shane and then get a reaction out of him for. But I still feel like this was reserved. Like this was them
packaging it up for TV.
Yeah, like presenting their best selves to us.
No, we need you to go fully unhinged.
I feel like this could get sloppy. This could get messy.
If they ever get that comfortable in front of a camera.
I was really hoping for that Jinx moment, though. The hot mic.
Yeah, producers, where are you?
There wasn't anything good in that bathroom. Nothing we could use on TV.
Nah, not quite.
What's up?
Sell my car on Carvana. It's just not quite the right time.
Crazy coincidence. I just sold my car to Carvana.
What? I told you about it 2 days ago.
When you know, you know. You know? I'm even dropping it off at one of those sweet car vending machines and getting paid today.
That's a good deal.
Oh, great deal. Come on. What's your heart saying?
You're right. When you know...
You know.
Sold.
Whether you're looking to sell your car right now or just whenever feels right, go to Carvana.com and sell your car the convenient way. Terms and conditions apply.
We all have dreams. Dream home renovations, dream vacations, or sending our kids to their dream colleges. But finding straightforward ways to turn those dreams into realistic goals, that's where things get tricky. Merrill understands that. That's why, with a dedicated Merrill advisor, you get a personalized plan and a clear path forward. And having the bull at your back helps your whole financial life move with you. So when your plans change, Merrill is with you every step of the way. Go to ml.com/bullish to learn more. Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do? Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.
How did you actually sleep last night? If it didn't feel like your very best rest, then you need to upgrade to the softest, most luxurious bedding from Boll & Branch. Their signature sheets are made from the finest 100% organic cotton and get softer with every wash. Millions of sleepers love their sheets, and right now, you can feel the difference for yourself during their biggest sales of the entire year. Hurry to bollandbranch.com to shop their best offers. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Getting engaged can be stressful. Getting the right ring won't be at BlueNile.com. The jewelers at BlueNile.com have sparkle down to a science with beautiful lab-grown diamonds worthy of your most brilliant moments. Their lab-grown diamonds are independently graded and guaranteed identical to natural diamonds and ready to ship to your door. Get $50 off your purchase of $500 or more with code LISTEN at BlueNile.com. That's BlueNile.com, code LISTEN for $50 off.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Shall we chat about the Ryans? Speaking of the Jinx, I feel like let's go to another
crime
couple that may have some bodies buried somewhere.
Yeah, and Becky is getting ready for her fajita cantina date, and she has some assistance today from her daughter Nancy and then her sister-in-law, who actually looks a lot like Justin.
It was scary. I thought that was another daughter, but the resemblance makes sense from a DNA standpoint.
Very close to Justin.
They're going out on a date all together. This is the first time that Becky is going to meet Yary. And it's Yary's birthday?
It was Yary's birthday? I missed that.
I think...
Is that a thing?
I think they said... Maybe I made that up. I think they said that because there was a whole conversation about not outshining her.
Oh, I thought that was just because Becky was... I don't know if it was her birthday. I feel like we're getting close to Yary's death day.
Did I just make that up?
I don't know.
I may have made it up.
Well, so Becky was making the point that she wants to convey to Yary on this date that Becky is the type of person who will support her. And she wanted to give a good sister wife impression.
That she's going to make her feel special.
Yes, and is open to enabling her to feel special.
I latched on to that wording because it was creepy. It had cult vibes.
I want to be able to make her feel special at times and then tear her down irrevocably in other ways.
This woman has a lot of clothes. They went through a lot of different dresses.
Do you not do this?
Me?
All the time?
No.
Going through the closet, trying to figure out what's appropriate to wear to certain venues and events, depending on what's going on?
Are you accusing me of something?
Do you not do
I have
this?
like 4 outfits.
That's not true. That's not true. We share a closet, ma'am.
She had a lot of dresses.
Okay.
A lot of very different dresses that feel like they fit with different personalities.
You just did this for a business trip where you were so nervous about what to pack because you were traveling for that.
Yeah, because I don't have access to my whole closet when I'm traveling.
That's
so
what I'm
you got to
saying.
make sure that whatever you packed is what you're going to want to wear.
Yeah, but you've kind of done that. This is relatable sort of in this experience.
I do not relate to Becky Ryan. Thank you very much. And I did not like the dress that they chose. It looked okay on the hanger, but as soon as she puts anything on, it just looks like it came from the old lady section of Kohl's.
American Girl doll.
You think she looked like an American Girl doll?
No, I think the clothes looked like they were from the American Girl doll store.
Except for that blue dress.
Well, I guess that would be a good American Girl doll. A polygamist.
Where's our polygamy? Where's our representation in the American Girl doll collection?
There's not a lot of crossover, though, for American Girl fans who are also polygamists, probably.
Polygamous children?
Yeah, probably not a lot of fans.
Right,
the drama that they could introduce into those books I don't think people are ready for it.
Oh my God. I'm having lots of thoughts about the additional clothing items that could be part of the polygamous doll collection. Let's move on. We're going to try to make Yary feel special. She doesn't really know how to do that, though, because she has not spoken to Yary at all, which is very different than how they've done past relationships, especially with that bitch Stephanie.
Ruining it for everybody.
So Becky doesn't know what the vibe is yet, because all she knows about Yary is stuff that's been communicated to her through Justin. And I get the sense that Justin doesn't tell her very much.
I get that feeling too. I feel like they have their own logins to the app. Like they don't even share the app. They don't want to spend any time together doing this. No additional communication back and forth for anything, please.
Did you think it was really weird when they got to the restaurant and Justin was like, let's just sit in the car and wait for her to get here too? Because what if she stands us up and doesn't show up? And then we go into the restaurant and we ask for a table for 3 and then she doesn't come and it only ends up being 2 of us and the waiter laughs and is like, haha, they got stood up.
That's not usually the first scenario that comes to mind when you ask for a table of 3 and only 2 people show up.
Exactly.
That doesn't seem like a stood up scenario.
I don't think anyone in the restaurant is suspecting that that's what happened to you, sir. So if that's a real point of embarrassment for you, I think we can let that go.
I kind of felt like he was blaming Becky for the last time they got stood up.
Really?
Or maybe he just doesn't like to be seen in public with Becky. Just in general. Because
Becky seems like she's maybe a little bit embarrassing. She starts conversations with the waitstaff that are uncomfortable.
She hits on people.
She's asking random people in a bar if they want to be her sister wife.
So the last time they got stood up, I think that was the most telling part. They didn't continue the date with just the 2 of them. They went home to sulk.
At his insistence.
Yes, he was ready to get out of there. If we weren't meeting with the hot chick from the bar, then I don't want to hang out with you.
I don't want to take you on a date.
Let's go home. These bubble teas are to go.
I think that maybe there's more going on between Becky and Justin than we know.
The animosity that's building there. But also, yeah, maybe it's just Becky's not a good dater. She's pretty bad at dating because this is awkward when they do get here.
From the moment that they meet Yary in the parking lot, it starts getting weird. And Justin really doesn't say a word during the whole date. It's all Becky. What did you think about her seeing Yary for the first time? And her reaction was, you can tell she's a workout girly.
And she understands why Yary is Justin's type because she's definitely got, quote, some kind of Latina in her.
I gasped. The way she talked about that.
What was that MTV course that they made people take? Remember when the people from Teen Mom were saying some really stupid shit on Twitter?
Oh, yeah. And they had to learn about how to talk about people of color.
Race in general and how things can be offensive without the intention of being offensive, but it can be pretty offensive.
Becky needs to take a course.
I think she needs a brush up because I don't think she's been introduced to that. She needs a 101 course.
She does strike me as the kind of person who would walk up to someone and say, "Where are you from?"
You look so exotic.
They cut that part out. I bet you the producers were like, we can't include that.
I feel
it's
like
a step too far.
So they don't really have anything to talk about on this date because Becky doesn't know anything. And then when she's asking questions, she's getting very short, brief answers from Yary, who does not want to interact with this woman more than she absolutely has to. Because it's like, well, what do you do for fun, Jim?
They just eat tortilla chips in silence. That's most of this date.
It is awkward. And then Becky has to revert to, okay, well, how was the last date? Better than this one? I don't know what to tell you. What do you want to hear?
She's prying for info. So did you talk about future plans or did you get to share a nice kiss?
See, Becky's a closer. She's looking for Justin to push Yary into marriage immediately. The concept of being a sister wife because Becky needs a friend.
Can I make the point that right now, Justin's the only one getting anything out of this relationship, and that's not how this is supposed to work? I think that maybe that's part of the pushing towards something more serious where now you have to have a relationship with me also?
So Becky is doing the emotional vampire thing where if she can't get anything positive, then she's going to start taking some negative stuff instead. And so that's when she starts asking about the kiss. And Justin's like, ooh, forgot to set boundaries on the conversation of what we were going to bring up because this is weird to bring up the kiss.
And Yary sounds like she's pretty conservative on a regular day. Never mind while you're on a date with someone's wife in a relationship triangle that you've never really experienced before. And now this woman is asking you about intimate moments that you've had with their husband.
And Becky is pushing for this information. Yary had never even heard of polygamy. This is all very new to her. She doesn't know how to navigate these types of situations.
Did you say that Becky asked her if she wanted to continue dating them?
Oh, no, yeah, not specifically.
I think I saw Yary wince when she said them. I don't think Yary realizes she's dating them. She's dating Justin, and now she's met Becky. I don't think she's ready to commit to Becky.
Well, I think it was easier to compartmentalize to say, I'm dating Justin, and Becky
has a wife.
Becky is okay with it. So that was where Yary's mental space was on this scenario. And now Becky is forcing Yary to consider, no, I'm a part of this too, and here's how I'd like to be involved.
It does seem like Yary is open to the extent of dating Justin and knowing Becky exists, but not having to interact with her.
Not a Biggie Housey situation coming up here.
I am fascinated to see how this is going to continue. Either Yary's going to ghost them after having met Becky, or she's going to make it very clear that she's interested in a relationship with Justin and Justin alone.
Yeah, because I don't think Yary's interested in exploring this too much further if Becky's going to remain to be involved at the level of involvement in this date.
She did not make the impression that she was hoping to have made.
But Becky has a real good feeling about it. They're making some progress here, and it's a big improvement over their last relationship.
I cackled when Becky told her that they were patient people.
Yeah, that's not true.
When Yary was explaining this is new to her, she's not really sure. She's like, well, we're patient people. Okay, girl.
Until we start paying for things, then you owe us.
To be fair, I would stay as far away from Becky as humanly possible as well. So I'm on Team Yary here.
Stay safe.
Decisions.
Wait a minute. Are you still looking for cars on Carvana?
Yeah, decisions.
When I use Carvana, I found the exact car I was looking for in minutes. Bought it on the spot.
Electric or full diesel? Decisions.
Come on, you've been at it for weeks. Just buy it already.
You're right. Crossover it is. Decisions decided.
Whether you know exactly what you want or like to take your time, buy your car the convenient way with Carvana.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
We all have dreams. Dream home renovations, dream vacations, or sending our kids to their dream colleges. But finding straightforward ways to turn those dreams into realistic goals, that's where things get tricky. Merrill understands that. That's why, with a dedicated Merrill advisor, you get a personalized plan and a clear path forward. And having the bull at your back helps your whole financial life move with you. So when your plans change, Merrill is with you every step of the way. Go to ml.com/bullish to learn more. Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do? Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.
Let's cap this off with the Davis family.
Yes.
Another date, but a wifeless date this time. Just one-on-one.
One-on-one, just Nick and Jasmine meeting up in a parking lot downtown to jump in a carriage and ride around.
We have to talk about the attire. I know the whole situation is a little bizarre with the carriage with the wisteria hanging off of it, but the goth prom dress and the fact that Nick was wearing her favorite color under, was it a tux? Almost. It was a little suit.
It wasn't a tux.
It was a little vest and a pocket square that were that same lime green. Actually, this was toned down a bit. It didn't have as much yellow in it.
Yeah, it wasn't the high vis green.
It's clearly her favorite color, though, because she's wearing green eyeshadow. They coordinated their outfits. How weird is that? On a first date? I just insulted someone out there.
Is it their first date?
You don't think it is?
You think they've met before?
If they did, they didn't have much conversation because I feel like Nick learned a lot about Jasmine during this carriage ride.
Well, just based on, and I think he was trying to get a good glimpse of those boobies. He was really trying to be able to pick them out of a lineup if he needed to.
I don't know if TLC is trying to compete with the other carriage ride that is blowing up on social media this week. Did they end at Bridgerton House? I'm not sure.
And I'm still mad about Bridgerton stuff.
About what?
We had a whole experience because, of course, Carly is swept away in Bridgerton fever with this season that has just recently released.
What did I do?
While we were coming back from dinner one night, you put on the Bridgerton soundtrack. To which
I forgot this is a real sticking point for you.
Which you seemed to be very into and you were enjoying thoroughly. And I said, well, that's interesting because this is like a string quartet version of a pop song, which that was what I had suggested for our wedding reception music about a decade ago. And you poo-pooed. You were not into this concept. And literally the next song was by Vitamin String Quartet, which was all of the songs that I had picked out for our reception. And you didn't want it.
You were too ahead of the times. What can I say?
You could have had a Bridgerton fantasy wedding reception.
I shouldn't have brought it up
ahead of time.
I forgot. I think the wine caused me to forget that conversation until just now.
Well. Here we are.
Well, Corey's going to hold that against me for a while here. The staring at the tits, though, was that the same clip that they just kept showing over and over again? Or did he really do that many times?
I would say, okay, so the first two looked like the same glimpse, different angle, 2 or 3 maybe, but he was doing it all night.
Oh my God.
He was doing it all night. The first one was a leery look. He was diving in.
Why would you even do that? You know your wives are going to watch this on TV.
You know Danielle is. Slow motion, frame by frame.
Danielle was ready to have them hook up the footage that they filmed to the TV. She was sitting there waiting. We'll get to that. She's ready.
She's watching dailies. She's ready to go.
While they're on this romantic carriage ride, Nick is talking about their family and their religious beliefs, that it's very rooted in mathematics and science. And it seems like that's going over well with Jasmine at first. She's like, yeah, there's definitely some validity to it.
Some validity to it. That was my red flag.
Well, then the conversation takes a little bit of a turn that Nick didn't expect because she is very learned in the area of religion. She has studied 8 different religions in her lifetime. And Nick's like, wow, okay. And then she drops the bomb that it's because her mom is a reverend and they're pagan.
And she's always been a little different, a little otherworldly, not rooted here in this reality and this timeline. Because she's special. She's different.
I just thought that it was very funny that someone who lives a life that people would look at and say, that's kind of strange, would react to someone talking about how their life is different from most other people's and be like, that's kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah, Nick was like, I have a lot to learn about this stuff, but we don't have time for that today. Let's talk about some other stuff.
We have to talk about the goddesses who are looking over her. She has 2.
And I guess this kind of ties back to the otherworldly thing. That just feels like an excuse to me if you're kind of a spacey person where you're not really paying attention to things. If it is kind of a dippiness.
Oh, you're making a lot of assumptions about her.
No, I'm just saying. So like it feels like most people that I've interacted with, when that's their go-to explanation for it, and it's like, well, do we have undiagnosed ADHD as a thing? maybe that could be part of the situation of why you don't feel connected and rooted and exactly in step with what's going on with things in the day-to-day here. Could it be that simple?
I think
or is it the other solution here where there are these different patron gods that she has that are looking out for her best interest and they match the energy that she's putting out into the universe?
I think the first indication that maybe things aren't going so well in that realm is that you have met the Davis family. She thinks that they've been treating her well, these goddesses, until now, because you're about to get involved in a big old mess. What'd you think about the fact that she shared she's pagan, though?
I feel like it was bound to come up at some point, especially when he's talking about their religious, well, not even religious beliefs, but just their familial beliefs.
Obviously, we don't have a problem with her being pagan. That's not why I'm sticking on this. I just don't think that that's something that this family cares very much about. So it felt like another example where somebody is telling you who they are, and we're not actually taking that in because we just want you to fit into the existing dynamic that we have, and we're not actually going to incorporate your belief system or anything about how you are into our family.
Nick almost seemed intimidated by it because it was something that he didn't know anything about. So when she knows this stuff and she's raised to understand all these different religions and all these different things, he doesn't know anything about that. So now it's something that she's an expert in and he's a novice. So how does he navigate that?
I kind of think that Nick gets off on mansplaining science and mathematics to his other wives. And it makes you wonder, when the dynamic is flipped, how is that going to go over?
Is he as good of a student as he is a teacher?
Supposedly he was being a student. That's what he was doing while everyone was at work. We're going to put him to the test here.
I like how Nick blamed his wives for not giving him a heads up on this. He's like, oh, they should have probably caught that in the screener questions to Jasmine. So I would have had a heads up and I could have researched everything about paganism
before I went on this date.
Before I go on the date. So I could keep up with her in conversation. Now I sound like an idiot.
Well, to be fair, they really weren't trying to get to know her that well on the first date. It was just trying to see if she was open to being a sister wife.
I think she's open to a lot of things.
He's already talking to her like she's here for good. Like, coming off of that conversation about paganism, he's like, well, I'm sure we'll have plenty of time, plenty of nights where we'll talk about philosophical things.
Just planting the idea, just getting her to think about it subconsciously.
A first date.
Well, and it's a good thing it wasn't a dinner date, because then we find out that Jasmine has some struggle chewing food, I guess.
I asphyxiate on my food all the time.
Slow down.
I giggled.
Slow down, girl.
When Nick was like, chew your food.
Yeah, please. Safety first.
He does not know how to react to her, and it's funny. Danielle is already funny enough, and now we're adding Jasmine in here. I think this is like gold for television. We've struck gold again.
So then the rest of the date, they don't really know what to talk about. Nick doesn't know how to talk about pagan stuff. So he just starts kissing her. And so they're just smooching in the carriage ride all over downtown through various business establishments. And
they're definitely in like a downtown business district.
Financial district. People walking by on the sidewalk, whatever.
The most surprising thing was that she let him take her to a second location.
Okay, so this was where Jasmine was talking about how confident, flashy, and smooth he is. Nick smooth? Does Nick have game?
He's trying with the whole conversation. I got to have access to your mind before your body. And she was like, correct. You're not going to have access to my body before you have my mind.
Well, I feel like he can't get a read on her. That was why he was like, can we go talk someplace else? Because I need to figure out what's going on here.
He's really trying to sell it to her hard, because then he's telling her, then he's telling her about how his sex is a powerful thing. So they've really got to make sure that this is something she's interested in before they go down that route. It does make it feel like he is much more interested in the physical aspect of these relationships, but the lady doth protest too much. And so he's trying to lead with the whole, I'm into your mind, not your body.
It was all proposed in a joking manner, But I don't think there's a lot of joking that's in there. There's a lot of truth in what he is saying about his sex being a powerful thing, I guess. Too.
You believe him?
It should be more of a warning. Well, he's talking about knocking Danielle out when we get back to...
That's true. Something is going on there, huh?
So, I mean, you have to be careful. If you're talking about slow down, chew your food, be careful. Or safety first in all aspects. What was surprising to me was Nick feels like it's going so well. He invites Jasmine for a sleepover with the family. Come over for a weekend.
That was really weird.
To not check in with the wives after this date and just invite Jasmine.
It was also really weird coming off the heels of a conversation about not wanting to get physical first. And then it's like, well, let's speed things up. Do you want to spend a whole weekend with us and sleep in our bed together? That's also, it's all of them in the bed. It's very bizarre to go from we went on one singular date together to why don't you spend the entire weekend with us sleeping over at our house in our bed? Maybe she could stay in the guest room.
That's what I was going to say. There needs to be some separation. Come over and stay for the weekend? Sure. Do you jump right into the bed where the rest of the married couples or married people in this family reside? I feel like that needs to still be a separation, a distinction, a boundary.
I was just about to say there's zero boundaries. Zero boundaries at all. And that's the first time that she's going to see their dynamic all together, Nick and his wives, and then her as part of that equation. Why make it the entire weekend?
Yeah, because Nick is even admitting he's worried about upsetting the dynamic of the household right now because things are working pretty well. It's pretty harmonious with the current setup, and now we're going to be shaking things up with Jasmine.
It didn't seem like someone who's erring on the side of caution, even though that's what he claims he's doing. Because then he goes home, and not so surprisingly, Danielle has been sitting up waiting for him to come back from the state.
Yeah, she's just watching a little TV, and based on the glow of that TV, it seems like it's like a 90-inch television.
That she's sitting 3 feet from.
It is just bright as the center of the sun. And
it was very poltergeist. It was giving poltergeist.
You figure you have to have a television that big. If your bed is 12 feet, how big's your TV? Pretty big, I'm assuming.
This house did not look like it's big enough to hold a lot of this furniture.
Have an Alice in Wonderland situation going on here. Maybe Jasmine's into that.
The dimensions are off.
We'll have to find out. But Danielle's staying up here because she's pretending like she's not completely riddled with anxiety about Nick being out on this date. She was just happened to be watching some TV and hasn't been able to sleep. How'd your date go?
Did you kiss?
Not that I'm looking for any details. Don't kiss and tell or anything, but could you tell me if you did?
And he feels a little weird about telling her, but he does tell the truth that they did kiss. Danielle's eye starts to twitch again.
Yeah, those lashes start wiggling.
I thoroughly enjoyed that she just happened to be up in the middle of the night because she just couldn't fall asleep. So she's just watching some TV. It just happens to be that you're on a date and that I'm sitting here in a full set of eyelashes with my makeup fully done.
Yeah, she clearly wasn't watching something on TV because normally if you're watching something on TV, the light that is emitting from the television will change. It's not just a blank white glow that happens from the TV screen. Usually the images are changing. And so the light will flash. Commercials have different shots too.
Has that ever happened to you where it's pitch black, you're up in the middle of the night watching TV and a bright white commercial comes on and just blinds you? Like, how dare they put this on TV this late?
Yeah, there should be some laws and regulations in place for stuff like that.
I'm trying to rot on my couch in the middle of the night here. Going back to the contradictions in the things that Nick says, he didn't want to tell her about the kiss, really. He felt weird about it. But then he tells her that he invited Jasmine to spend the weekend with them.
Yeah, because he knows that Danielle's insecure. Danielle even knows that she's insecure. She's not feeling 100% confident about this. So then to go right from, yeah, we kissed a little. It seems like Jasmine's interested in me. By the way, I invited her over to stay for the weekend and sleep with us.
How do you feel about that?
Danielle is finding herself. She has left her body. She's up above the 90-inch television screen, and she's seeing herself tell Nick, yeah, that sounds a good idea. That sounds fun. That sounds like this is good. This is good for the family. And it's as long as we do things and keep everybody's thoughts and feelings in consideration, I think that this is going to be good. We can pursue that and it'll be good. And then she slowly realizes, I kind of tend to tell people what they want to hear, I think.
The comedic timing of the cut to her on the couch saying that, perfect.
Because even at this point, Danielle was trying to say, the sleepover idea, I don't think I'm ready for that. And then Nick confirms with her, so you're okay with that if we move forward with a sleepover? And then she agrees because he brought it up again after she vaguely said, well, maybe let's take some time and kind of feel things out. So I feel like that was a missed cue on Nick's side or just a bulldozing moment where he knew that if he just asked her again directly about it because he didn't get a direct no from her, that she'll eventually just cave and agree with him that, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And that's exactly what happened.
There just felt like there was a lot of manipulation going on at the end of this episode between the two of them, because then as they finish this conversation where he tells her that her opinion's really important in this whole equation, it's like, you're having a hard time sleeping, huh? Why don't we go upstairs?
And I'll put your ass to sleep. Is basically what's going on. Because his sex is a powerful thing.
Felt like he was trying to erase some insecurity with some D.
Maybe you should get like a padded headboard then if you're knocking these women out. Okay? Let's be careful.
Stop it, Corey. He's all horned up from staring at Jasmine's titties all night.
They're burned into his retinas at this point. He cannot look anywhere without seeing Jasmine's boobies.
Poor Danielle. She's going to watch this and find out what the real motivation was behind that, and I don't think it's going to make her feel any better. Next episode, the Merrifields invite a new potential sister wife into their home for the weekend without telling Natalia. The Davises put their bed to the test when Jasmine comes over for a slumber party. Yary makes it clear to Justin she wants him for herself.
I feel like there was probably a better way we could have phrased the Davis summary.
I enjoy that we did not read that until now, and it's fun coming off of some of the things we just said.
Wow.
That's the penultimate episode.
And the Merrifields are introducing a totally new character into the mix here. They deserve their own spinoff. They can hold their own show. The Merrifields on their merry way.
I'm sure we could come up with something catchier than that. But let us produce it, TLC. That would be fun. I don't want to interact with Garrick.
You don't have to as a producer. Yeah, you let
this blank stare.
Yeah, just let people on site do that.
Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast or leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.
Hi, this is Jonathan Fields, host of The Good Life Project, where each week I talk to listeners about investing in their future by increasing their own vitality. But when it comes to those financial goals, whether it be saving for a home renovation, growing your child's college fund, or travel, life can make it difficult to stay the course. By working with a dedicated Merrill advisor, you get a personalized plan and a clear path forward. Having the bull at your back helps your whole financial life move with you. So when your plans change, Merrill's with you every step of the way. Go to ml.com/bullish to learn more. Merrill, a Bank of America company. What would you like the power to do? Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker-dealer, registered investment advisor, member SIPC.